New star developer at Kaspa, news about smart contracts, and faster than other blockchains in wallet-to-wallet comparisons. All of that here in this video. Hey, welcome to Crypto Owl. Yes, we have another great Kaspa topic today. Even though, as always, we're starting with the market update and things aren't looking so rosy, there's great news, including about smart contracts and a fantastic offer for you. Let's check in the market update to see what's happening right now. And yes, I said it, these 11.5 cents are a kind of magical threshold. I was hoping we could hold that level. Now we've dropped a bit, but at the moment we're trading around the lower edge of the regression channel, so let's see where things go from here. Let's hope we at least stay within the regression channel. After Bitcoin had a breakout to the upside yesterday, which we saw here yesterday, and actually after Kaspa was sold off the day before, you could really take advantage of that move. That's exactly what I did on Blofin. I got in a bit too late. I actually wanted to enter down here, but as it goes, sometimes you just don't have the time, even to quickly type something on your phone. At least I was able to catch this upward move here. You can see it nicely on the hourly chart, or even better on the 15-minute chart. So I caught this move from here to there. Then I thought, there's still some potential. Maybe I could get in again. So after this pullback, I entered and actually wanted to catch a long position. At first, it looked pretty good up here, but then this drop happened, which you can also see with Bitcoin. That's why both Bitcoin long and Kaspa long aren't looking so positive right now. But as you know, I don't trade with huge amounts. But in the end, we can see that overall, things are moving forward positively, at least in terms of development, which we'll get into in a moment. First, let's talk about the big topic, the news of the day yesterday regarding Kaspa. There's a new star developer on board. Known as a hacker, previously worked at IOTA, and now he's with Kaspa, moving from IOTA to Kaspa. He's one of the most well-known hackers and crypto developers in Europe. Hans Moog is now joining Kaspa after having to leave IOTA, you could almost say. He wrote the following about it, and it's quite an emotional text, as you'll notice when you read through it. He actually considered leaving the blockchain scene entirely, stepping away completely from blockchain and DLT development. Then he had conversations with Michael Sutton and also with Jonathan Sompolinsky and discussed things with both of them. And then he realized that this original version, the one that once existed around crypto, is far from dead, and that the Kaspa project can and will continue the original idea of Satoshi Nakamoto. And that's why he joined Kaspa. So, a very emotional text, and it really has to be said, it's interesting what he writes here, especially when you consider, and I found this text particularly striking. Kaspa is meant to prove to the world that performance, security, robustness, and openness do not have to be mutually exclusive features of a DLT, but can be combined in a single layer, one by utilizing insights from years of research. That means we only need one layer one, and it can actually do everything that all the others promise. Instead of being the first, it's valuable to do things right and try to be the best. Let's prove to the world that true decentralization is not only important, but superior to any form of benevolent dictatorship. Yes, and he is now officially with KaspaFoundation.org. And the KEF, that is, the Kaspa Foundation, also wrote about this, stating that Hans Moog is joining the KEF, the core research team of Kaspa. And that is really great. He was actually at a festival, specifically the Web3 festival, and there he already spoke about Kaspa 2.0 and zero-knowledge technologies. So you could already hear a bit that he is heading in this direction. And all of this is not so far-fetched because we've repeatedly had the topic of Hans Moog, who has been involved with many projects, has made statements about many projects, including Kaspa. And it's really great that this has happened here. And you have to take a look. On March 9th, 2023, so over 2 years ago, he already spoke positively about Kaspa and wrote, "But Kaspa is one of the few projects in this field that I believe truly adds value to the existing body of knowledge, as it is one of the very few projects that explores the mindset of Satoshi Nakamoto and not of Lassie Lampard." And that was a statement even back then. With very few clicks, very few views, only 1,400 people. But those who did see it said, yes, Hans Moog, as I said, as a well-known developer, I also keep hearing, the name is way too overhyped. What did he actually accomplish at IOTA? Yes, you simply have to keep in mind if you think about the structural changes IOTA went through during the time he was there. He suddenly had new bosses put in charge, new ideas, new directions. Suddenly there was a second layer, suddenly there were new tokens, and he said, weren't we actually still working on this topic? Why are we already moving on to the next thing? And why do we now have a new token? And why are we suddenly heading in a different direction? All of this isn't always easy. Just imagine you have a regular job and suddenly a new boss comes in and tells you what you've been doing so far, we're going to do completely differently, we're heading in a new direction. He still tried to keep researching, but eventually realized that it just didn't make sense anymore. Whether he left voluntarily in the end or was actually fired, I never really understood 100% myself, but at the end of the day, he's now with Kaspa. And that's a great thing. If you ever look into Hans Moog, because you might think, well, famous hacker, yes, his story is actually quite impressive, how he even got into blockchain and crypto and where his beginnings were, because that was actually more in the direction of, well, you have to say it, in the direction of hacking, and especially hacking games. Back then, when it was still a bit harder to get CDs and so on, and games were still very expensive, they didn't have Steam yet, he was involved with those kinds of things. And while we're talking here, the Kaspa price is also rising, and that's definitely a positive sign. Are we heading back toward those 11 cents, 11.5 cents? We have every reason to be excited. My long position is definitely running, and we're back in positive territory. And if you also want to trade on Blofin, for example, open a Kaspa long like I did, then feel free to do so. You can even get additional cashback on your first deposit. Buy and trade cryptocurrencies on Blofin, whether in your browser or in their own app. By signing up with Blofin, you get access to over 500 cryptocurrencies for spot trading and another 800 through futures trading. You can even try copy trading bots or demo trading here to see if you can make a profit. Blofin and Crypto Yule are celebrating a partnership, and this is being marked with 20% cashback on your first deposit. This is limited to $500 and only for the first users until May 31st. So signing up and making a deposit could be doubly rewarding here. Depositing euros and receiving cryptocurrencies is very easy with their partners such as Simplex and others, but other currencies are also available here. In addition to your reward hub, where you can generate extra rewards, you can also earn passive income in the earn section, either flexibly or locked in for example, 180 days, such as here, 2.56% on USDT. Check out the fastest growing crypto exchange of the past 3 years and get an additional 20% cashback. Remember, this offer is limited. The new update from Kaspa has brought 10 blocks per second, and the dream is still to reach 100 blocks per second, which would of course allow for many more transactions, or more precisely, much more processing in the case of mass adoption, and would make the network more secure. So, this blockchain project, this block DAG, is truly unique, and by now, this is how things are looking. For everyone who hasn't seen it yet, kaspa.org. You can check it out there. Just scroll down a bit and you'll see something like this, and you can even find more information about Kaspa and all sorts of additional things here. And this is also the company where Hans Moog has now started working. So with this new update, a lot of great things have come along and the technology continues to develop and be researched further. 100 blocks per second, we can be excited to see what happens. That will make for some crazy graphics. I mean, wow, you won't even be able to show that properly in a single image. You'd need a huge screen to see it, or the blocks would have to be tiny. I'm really curious to see if they'll manage it, and above all, when they'll manage it, because the dream is still alive. Anyone who has ever made a Kaspa transaction, whether from an exchange, even though those require confirmation time, or from wallet to wallet, and especially wallet to wallet, is interesting here. Whether it's a hardware wallet from Tangem, they still have the Kaspa logo here. I still find that really very nice. There's still this green card, and 1,927 units are still available. So check it out and save an additional 10% with the code CryptoYule at Tangem, the hardware wallet. And anyone who has ever made a transaction from wallet to wallet knows how fast that is. No matter if it's a desktop wallet, which I don't recommend, in theory someone could hack your PC and watch you. And if you enter your desktop wallet, your 24 words or your 12 words to log in, because the browser logged you out or you didn't save anything so you have to log in again, then it's possible that your wallet could just be gone. That's why a hardware wallet, which you always have with you or at least keep nearby, it doesn't have to be in your pocket all the time, is the safest option. So check out Tangem, the hardware wallet. I had a conversation with Tangem the other day, and they told me that only 15% of all crypto holders actually own a hardware wallet. And you definitely don't want to be one of those 85% who don't have a hardware wallet. So check out Tangem and this awesome Kaspa card with a 10% discount. You can find all the information about Tangem up here. And with this wallet-to-wallet comparison, you can easily compare all the blockchains. You simply take wallet 1 and wallet 2 from each blockchain or crypto project and just load €1 or maybe €5 onto them for transaction fees. Depending on the project, those fees can be higher. And then you just test them against each other by sending from wallet 1 to wallet 2, then move on to the next project and time how long it takes. And when you do that, you come across something interesting. Currently, Kaspa measured this way, and it's a pretty close call, just 0.10 seconds ahead of Abdos. So Abdos is also very fast, but at the moment Kaspa is still in the lead. Specifically, it takes 2.56 seconds for a Kaspa transaction from wallet to wallet. And you just have to be honest here, considering that Ethereum is also down there, and with 15.4 seconds, Ethereum is still okay. But just imagine you're at the checkout and have to wait 15 seconds for your transaction to go through. Sure, you have to admit, sometimes when the card doesn't scan properly and you have to enter your PIN, then 15 seconds is acceptable. But you simply have to keep in mind that if you want mass adoption for transactions, for fast money transfers, then you obviously have to make it fast as well. And as we can see here, Kaspa is in first place, followed by others. You can see the graphic here, and of course you can also find the link to the tweet with the image. And at the same time, here's some more information. What exactly is Kaspa and what makes it so fast? And very important, there was no ICO, there are no founders in that sense, there is no founding company, only a research organization at Kaspa.org that continues to develop everything. But that's also the case with Bitcoin. That's why it's exciting to see what's happening here. And it's also nice to see something like this in black and white. Then there's more news about smart contracts. And smart contracts are always a topic. I know that a lot of people want them and the KX20 tokens are still running. Many then say, yeah, they'll just swap over to the smart contracts that will run on the Kaspa blockchain. But yeah, Chris made a bit of a joke here, hopefully. Or does he mean it seriously? I'm not 100% sure. The smiley is kind of missing. So, Kaspa smart contracts are ready for launch, and that's 100%. And Chris wrote to Mr. Kaspador, who wrote or posted this: "My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined, because apparently 100% is not enough for these smart contracts to be here. And because if they weren't finished yet, then it would be better to write 99% here. So, are they finished now? Do we know more now? It's tricky, but 100% isn't enough for such a brilliant project like Kaspa when it comes to smart contracts." That's what Chris writes here. But Chris, for those who know him, is also very active in the KRC20 space. That's why we can be very excited to see when the smart contracts will finally arrive. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think they will come eventually, and then we'll get to see many new projects on Kaspa, because as Hans Moog said at the beginning, you only need one layer 1, and this layer 1 can do everything that all the others promise, or maybe already can do, or can only do to a limited extent. And if this one can do everything right, then you don't need a second one or anything else anymore. Yes, Bitcoin, the digital gold, will always exist. The internet computer, Ethereum, with the most applications and projects, okay, but who comes in third place? Do you see Solana in third place? Do you see XRP or Cardano, which have been around for a long time as cryptocurrencies or blockchain projects, in third place? Or do you think something great and new could still take third place, and that could be Kaspa, with fast transactions, an impressive blockchain, outstanding processing, quick transaction times, and many new projects that will very likely be built on this blockchain? Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Thank you very much for watching. We can be very excited to see how the journey continues. Now let's hope that the 11.5 cents will hopefully hold. Maybe we'll see that again, or even over 12 cents if Bitcoin breaks through $110,000. Hopefully that will happen this week. Feel free to share your thoughts about this in the comments as well, and I'll see you in the next video.